welcome to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom with Ryan. My name is Ryan Shefchak, and I'm the owner of Accessible America here in Verona, Pennsylvania. This is a weekly series where we cover different topics of the home accessibility industry, including products, services, and resources that may be of benefit to the people of Western Pennsylvania, and really anyone who's watching this video. For today's topic, we're going to cover accessible home automation. When you think about home automation, you probably think of things like Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or Apple HomeKit. What you may not realize is that home automation has really been around for many, many years before any of those technologies and was widely used by individuals with more complex disabilities. And while the purpose has sort of changed and the applications have sort of changed, it can still be used in all of those applications today. So while we may have those types of devices in our house to help us with things like telling us the weather or setting us reminders, they can do far more than that. Back in the day with accessible home automation, things like lowering the kitchen cabinets or raising the countertops was a common usage. Of course, opening the doors or an intercom system was very common. But now with the dawn of products like Alexa and Google Assistant, the uses are almost limitless. So it's really an exciting time for home accessibility and this technology in particular because, again, all of us have benefits from it, but many times it's still overlooked within the home accessibility community. So while there still are products that are specifically geared towards home accessibility, I'm going to focus more on the products that are widely available today because there's so many uses in our industry for them. When you start at the front of the home, the entrance to the home, the very front door is a great place to start with this type of technology. A number of years ago, probably 15 years ago or more, a product came out that was called the DoorScope. And in the home accessibility world, it was revolutionary. It replaced a standard peephole on the door with a much larger screen, and on the outside, it had a much wider viewing area. So it was perfect for individuals with disabilities or even the elderly, because it allowed them to see much more without having to really get in there and squint, and really could only see a very small portion of who's outside. Today though, now we have video doorbells, which are great. They're great for everybody because you can access them even when you're not at home and you can see who's at your door and communicate with them. But in the home accessibility world, they are extremely helpful because if you're upstairs, or unable to get to the front door for some reason, you can still see who's at your front door and you can communicate with them. So it's great if you're in a wheelchair or you're elderly. Instead of having to make your way to the door and then open the door and put yourself potentially at some sort of a risk, the video doorbell is a great piece of equipment. And then with that, there's also door locks. That, again, these communicate with Alexa or Google Assistant or Apple Home. And so if it's somebody that you do know and you're expecting them, or maybe you aren't expecting them and you still want to let them in, through these different systems, you can unlock the front door, or lock it for that matter. So it's another great application for the home. In addition to the examples that I just mentioned, there are a number of other applications for this type of assistive technology or accessible home automations. And they can include things like your HVAC systems, turning on or off, or the temperature up and down on your heating or air conditioning system, controlling faucets in your kitchen, opening or closing your garage door, turning on or controlling or changing the station on your television, turning on, dimming, turning off the lights, sprinkler systems in your front yard, opening or closing or unlocking doors and windows, and then of course personal safety alert devices in the case of emergency can also be tied into these devices. So as you can see, there's, again, a number of different applications that really for anyone could be used and people could benefit from. But again, when you're talking about the elderly population or individuals with disabilities, all of these products have an even more significant purpose and a higher need. And what really makes these products great is now that they've become so popular and widely available, they've also become far more inexpensive. And they are a great project for somebody to try to tackle on their own. Now, of course, there are certain aspects of it that may be more advanced or need some assistance with. But for your more simple light switches, for example, smart light bulbs that you could screw in, these things can easily be done by most people. And again, they're extremely affordable. So it's a great DIY project with a tremendous amount of value in doing so. So regardless of the technology platform that you prefer, whether it be Apple or Android or Windows, there's going to be assistive technology products that could benefit you. And so here at Accessible America, we would be happy to come out and assess your individual needs and circumstances and make recommendations on what types of products would benefit you the most. But they're so widely available that you can certainly do your own research as well and see how they could fit into your life and help make your life a little bit easier. So that's about it for this episode. Kind of a brief episode this week, but I think the information is really valuable, and I really do encourage you to dig a little deeper into accessible home automation products that are out there and again, readily available for you today. So in the meantime, if there's anything that we can do to help you in your own life, please do not hesitate to reach out to us with any questions you may have. If you have any feedback or topics that you'd like to see covered in these videos, certainly we would encourage you to keep sending those in to us. We always look forward to hearing from you. And until next week, again, we wish you all of the best. And remember that here at Accessible America, enhancing your abilities is our passion because we believe you can. Thank you for watching and see you next week.